Hey guys, welcome to a new episode. Today I'm going to present you this knife made by a Czech knife maker called Petr Hofman. Now today I'm really happy to present you this knife because Petr is a maker that I absolutely adore. First of all because he's a really nice guy and it's always a real pleasure to meet him and to talk with him. And secondly because he is extremely talented, and not only he makes some really high quality, very well finished knives, but he makes a very wide range, a very large variety of knives and mechanisms and shapes. So it's really interesting when he goes to a knife show to see what he's made new. By the way, he's got a YouTube channel. Don't hesitate to go and check it if you want to see other things that he makes. But yeah. He makes some very different knives, and here I've got an example. This is, actually it's a knife, yep. It doesn't look like a knife, but it is a knife. He made this one. It was a special project that he made for the second edition of the Fix Paris show, if I remember correctly. And here is the knife. And it's actually, when it's folded, the body of a Damsel flyer. Now, it is completely made out of titanium and it's completely articulated. Like, this thing is absolutely crazy, and he has presented this particular knife in an interview. So if you want to see more about it, just go and check the link in the description below. But yeah, he makes again a very wide range of knives, but they are all extremely high quality made, and you can definitely recognize his style in everything he makes, which is something I really love. He uses the same materials very often. He uses titanium, zirconium, and he makes his own screws always. So yeah, let's take a closer look to this particular knife and start with a few specs. It's quite a small knife. Blade length is 7.3 centimeters for a total length of 16.7 centimeters. It's an integral titanium handle. Yeah, something pretty amazing. With titanium screws that he has made by himself. This honestly is something that I absolutely adore in knives that are at a certain level of craftsmanship. It's when the maker starts making his own screws, and that is something I absolutely admire and love. So yeah, titanium handmade screws by himself. Of course, custom pivot also made of titanium. The blade is M390 steel that has a heat and cryogenic treatment to it to bring it to a 63 Rockwell hardness, which is insane. And it runs on Phosphor bronze washers, and this thing is the pure definition of smoothness. It is just crazy. Now about the design, it's very particular design, but in my opinion it's really beautiful. It's a kind of dagger shape with a symmetrical aspect to it. You have a central line there in the handle that actually is milled. It follows on the back there, and you can see the profile of the handle. It has really nice bevels to it. And the idea was to continue this line into the blade. And it's really beautifully made. And I really like this side of the knife because there you can see the cut for the lock bar. As you can see, of course, it's a Framelock, so the cut for the lock bar follows this central groove, which continues here in the pivot and in the blade. I really love how, like, it's really symmetrical, but this pivot kind of breaks the symmetry because it's not centered, of course. I think it makes a really interesting design, and it's all about straight lines. Like the butt there is the thinnest part, and it gets larger right to the end, near the tip, if we can call it a tip, of the knife. And all about straight lines, and there you've got this nice round huge custom pivot screw. Just think it makes a very interesting design. Now I love this view there. You have a really nice clean look with this integral titanium handle, and the finishing on that thing is just crazy. It has a hand-rubbed satin finish, absolutely perfectly executed, and that's why I'm wearing gloves, because it takes fingerprints quite easily. And I really want you to be able to admire this finishing, that is really close to perfection. Really cool. Before to make this video, I asked Petr what was the idea behind the knife, and he actually told me this knife was made in a kind of freestyle way, which is the way he really likes to work. Like when he starts the knife, he doesn't really know how it will end. So yeah, I think again that's really cool. Every knife is absolutely unique, and why he was making this particular knife, the idea just came to him to make this right angle ricasso there, just because it's all about straight lines, and he wanted to try this, something he had never made before. So he was like, oh, let's just try it, I think it will look cool. But it actually turned out to be a nightmare, because this again is a M390 steel blade, so it's extremely hard, and to make these nice right angles there and to make them nice polished and perfectly finished was an absolute nightmare, and the most difficult thing to make in this knife. But yeah, I think it really looks beautiful, and he likes to make his knives look simple, but with a lot of very subtle but sophisticated details, and kind of challenging details. He really definitely likes to challenge himself, which also is something I really like. And yeah, this is something you probably won't see the first time you pick the knife. It's almost invisible because it really follows the shape of the handle there. But yeah, when you take time to look at all the details, it really starts popping, and you can admire all the details, like this right angle there, the perfection of the finishing, these custom screws, this amazing custom pivot that is at the same angle. It's protruding, so it brings a really nice 3D effect, but it's at the same angle. I mean, it's beveled at the same angle as the handle. I really like this view too. Very unusual knife and shape. There you can see everything has been nicely chamfered near the inside there. Yeah, I'm really trying to show you all these little details, because this is an insane amount of work to make something like that. And when you see it like that, it looks quite simple, but no, it's not. Another detail that probably most people won't see, but really adds to the visual experience of the knife and even the tactile experience, is that all the edges all the angles have been slightly chamfered. Now that brings two things. First of all, it makes it very comfortable to handle despite the very angular and aggressive lines. You have no sharp edges anywhere, and even there where it's supposed to be like very pointy, it looks very pointy, but it's not, it doesn't hurt your hand at all. And it also adds to the visual experience because it will bring a very slight reflection, you'll probably see it there, where the edge is. And that just really enhances the overall design. And he did that absolutely everywhere. There you'll probably be able to see it. There. Even on the blade. And that adds a substantial amount of work. It's another detail that is just a detail, of course, but really adds a lot of work. But that's what makes this kind of knife so incredible. In the inside, either he has heat treated or coated the titanium, but it's black. The lock bar is milled on the inside just to make the thing look really nice and pure from the outside. Now again, I don't know how difficult that is to make on an integral knife, but just a little detail that is really appreciable. Here is his logo, very discreet. I like the idea that he didn't put it on the blade there. There you've got a lock bar insert that is heat treated, a steel lock bar insert that is held by, will you be able to see it? No, it's so well adjusted, guys, but yeah, maybe there you'll see it. The lock bar is kind of inlaid and it's held by this screw there. And then on this screw you've got the ceramic detent ball. Really easy to disengage. Now it's let's say two-hand opening, although you could open it like that. The detent is not crazy strong. It's still very strong, like it won't open by itself, but not strong enough that it's impossible to open with one hand like that. And it's really something really cool about this knife, like you can really experiment different ways to open it. It's such a different knife. It brings a whole new sensation when you handle it, and it's really hard to explain behind a camera, but you really need to have it in your hands to understand what I mean. Really unique sensation. And you know, knives for me, it's all about the design and the level of finishing and everything, but there is a tactile part that is extremely important. Almost 50% of the knife experience is all about touching it, feeling it, manipulating it, and this thing is really something new and different. And I also wanted to mention that although this knife is more a creation piece or like an art knife with an artistic approach, it's definitely usable. M390 steel, titanium integral handle with like huge pivot screw like that, lock bar insert and everything, ceramic detent ball. I mean, this thing is built like an absolute tank. And that's what I like in Petr's work, is that all his knives, even the craziest knives like these, are all made like that, with premium materials, premium treatment. Yeah, they are treated as an art piece as well as a real knife. So that's something really interesting. So that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I forgot to mention, this knife comes with a very nice pouch like that, which has a very high quality fabric, and it's extremely well made. Really love the way it's made, and it has a very kind of Japanese and Zen feeling to it, which matches perfectly well the knife, in my opinion. Really like the mother of pearl button there. Very well made. And it also comes with a round cloth like that, because again, this knife is a fingerprint magnet. And I quite like the idea that it's round and it matches the shape of the pivot right there. Also, I forgot to mention, but this is the knife that was, it's one of the two knives that was chosen to represent the new Fix Paris knife show for 2019. So it will be on the knife show poster, and it's definitely well deserved, and I think really represents this kind of show. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Really hope you enjoyed it. As usual, please leave a like if you did. Don't hesitate to let me know in the comments what you think about the knife. I just love to read all your comments. I'm answering to everybody, so again, don't hesitate, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.